and welcome to Biz Buzz with Bruno, presented by Mads Theater. I'm your host, Michael Bruno, and today we are so lucky to have Mercury Players Theater's production of Becky's New Car and the lovely and talented co-directors, Sean Langenecker and Megan McGlone. Thanks for coming today.
Thanks for having us.
Absolutely. Hi. So Sean and I, of course, go way, way back, but Megan, I haven't had the opportunity, I think, to ever do a show with you. So tell me a little bit about your background and how you came to be sitting in the seat today.
I started working with Mercury Players right around the time both of us moved to town, like right around 2005-ish.
Yep.
And we both started working with Mercury as one of our first theaters, and we were on the board together for a long time. We've done a million shows with each other. I've worked with a bunch of other theater companies, but Mercury is always the one that I'm coming back to.
And are you a Madisonian? You born here?
No, I moved here in 2005.
Ah, okay. And where from?
I was living in Freeport, Illinois before that.
Good move.
Yep. Yes, it was. Very much.
So now, I also get a shout out from Jen Farley.
Yes.
Who says she adores you, by the way. So are you connected at all with the Girls Rock Camp or Beth Killey or Gin Chocolate Bottle Rockets?
I'm the incoming executive director for Girls Rock Camp. So Beth Thorne has been there for 16 years, and I am taking over for her starting, I'll be taking over like in August toward the end of the Girls Rock Camp for the summer.
Love that.
I know. I'm so excited.
It's such a great opportunity for kids.
It is the best organization. I am so unbelievably lucky.
That's very cool. Where do you find the time to do all this now?
I don't sleep a lot.
Well, you're also a doctor. Don't forget that part.
And I'm sorry. I have a PhD in theater.
See, you have a doctorate.
But I don't usually tell people that.
Well, that's why I had to bring it up, so I could brag for you.
Love that. So, Sean, how did you come about to pick this? Did you pick the show or did the board pick the show?
I did pick the show. That's a great sort of where Megan came into this as well. So during the lockdown of 2020, when we were all very, very bored and not doing theater, I spent a lot of time reading script. I mean, I always am reading new scripts, but I upped that a lot during COVID because there was nothing else to do. And I started this online sort of forum called Quarren Reads, and I would pick a play and I would ask for anybody who wanted to show up. Like we did it weekly. People would volunteer, like, hey, I'll be there. I would assign them parts and we would do like a cold play reading.
Over Zoom.
Over Zoom.
We were allowed to get together with like six people.
Obviously not in place. So it was really fun because it was a different group of people. I mean, sometimes people would come every week. Sometimes people just wanted to watch. And we cast against type for everything because depending on who we were, we had Sarah Whalen playing a teenager during one point. I mean, like there was a lot of, we just played around and had a good time. So this is one of the plays that we read during Quarren Reads, and Megan was actually read for Becky.
And Sean read for Steve.
I read for Steve, so which is being played by Nick Caprellian in this production. And I already, so I oftentimes feel when I get to the end of reading a script the first time, I'm like, oh yeah, I'm interested in seeing this or producing this or being in this. And sometimes I'm just like, yep, nope, this is not for me. I didn't really like this. After the first time reading Becky, it was maybe the first time I read a script where I was like, I don't really know how I feel about this. Like, This is a really weird story. And so that was a really great opportunity to hear it out loud, because once I heard it out loud, I was like, this is hilarious.
We were dying over Zoom, which is hard because
over Zoom
is really
difficult.
It is a depressing way to do theater. And we were all just cracking up so much. When we were done, we said, we have to do this play. And we have to have Kelly. Yeah,
we right away sort of gravitated. If we were going to do this, we realized that the person that needed to play Becky was Kelly Maxwell for a lot of different reasons. Partly that there's a lot of improv in the show and a lot of audience interaction, and her background, she is very strong in improv, and also the character of Becky is, I don't want to give people opinions because I honestly still am trying to decide but in the wrong hands, the audience might not like Becky or her decisions at the end of the play. But in the right hands, you might think, oh, I really like this person and I identify with them. They also made some really poor choices. But at the end of the play, like, we wanted everyone to walk out thinking, wow, but also I like that I identify with that person. I can see exactly why these circumstances led to all these things happening, and I maybe would have made different choices, but you can empathize with her. And yeah, if someone else was doing it who was not quite so just automatically sweet and lovable as Kelly, it might be more difficult to carry the play off. But so yeah, we just thought, wow, this is a really unique play. The format's really unique. The plot is just bonkers, and it's weird. And I really gravitate towards weird things. I don't think that there is enough risky, strange theater being produced in Madison,
and it has
as there used to be.
There's a lot of meta theatricality, and there's a lot of audience interaction, and we both hate audience interaction so much. That is an automatic deal breaker, and we both said we have to do this play with all of this stuff because it's so different
works.
And it's perfect, and it's Kelly. Like, so you trust Kelly. If Kelly is coming up to you in the theater and gonna interact with you, you know that you're in good hands. Right. It's not like other plays that are kind of like gotcha. Right. Interaction.
So what's the basic storyline, without giving a lot of it away? What's the story of it? Obviously, it's about Becky's new car, I'm assuming.
It's a farce. It's a farce. So there's a lot of, misunderstandings and,
close calls.
And very silly, over the top kind of things that happen that only happen in a farce, that are kind of, ridiculous, but you're willing to go along for the ride. But it's about Kelly's a car Kelly works at a dealership and ends up selling a bunch of cars to a wealthy person, and there is a misunderstanding that then sets off a bunch of other things
and
that are misunderstandings,
ensues,
and it is
right?
hilarious. And it's hilarious at the same time as it's also like all of these characters have extremely sad things that are happening, and like lots of very real trauma, and it's all still very, very funny. It's a lot of styles all at once.
Yeah, I was going to say, while it is on the face a farce, like the further we've been diving into it, there's a lot of other stylistic things happening that really give it a lot of gravity and like will make people think. But yeah, especially just like, as Megan said, the amount of trauma that these people are going through, while at the same time just like causing such hilarity to the people around them, is kind of neat. And just how people process pain differently, and how humor helps in that. So it's really neat.
And who's the playwright?
Stephen Dietz.
And that name sounds really familiar. Has he done other works that we're
He's
familiar
a very, very widely published or widely performed playwright, and this play is a masterpiece. The more we work with it, the more we are finding connections with it every single day. It's amazing. Like, he's a very, very good playwright.
Yeah, the things that Madison audience might be familiar with, Yankee Tavern was produced a few years ago, and then Bloomsday, and then what's the big one? The one that it was like right before Becky's new car. It was his like one big like Broadway hit. And
I do remember Yankee Tavern. That was a really good production.
He was also the playwright in residence at Milwaukee Rep for a number of years, I believe in the late 90s.
Oh, okay.
And I can't remember which show. So I was in high school at this time, and my family had season tickets to the Milwaukee Rep. So I actually saw several of his productions there while he was the writer in residence. So, which is kind of fun. But
this is a really interesting play because it was commissioned
by
someone as a gift for their wife for their 60th birthday. And so they said, since this is a birthday gift, we would prefer for it not to be like really dark and like, can it be funny? So it's extremely dark in a funny way. And
happy birthday,
it also makes fun of wealthy people while not
like clueless,
but like indirectly.
Yeah.
So I've been comparing a lot to Shakespeare making fun of royalty in front of royalty. It's very, very clever that way, because the people that commissioned it definitely did not understand that they were being made fun of.
Oh,
by
how
this play
funny is that?
that they paid for.
Yeah, because they're like, well, I mean, we can, you know how hard it is to find a birthday gift for people, so commissioning a play is actually great. And it's really not very expensive. You can just
so
go and find a
easy.
very famous playwright and commission. It doesn't cost that much. Come on, guys. People commission art all the time. So there's a character in the play that you look at them and you go, okay.
Yeah,
I see what the playwright was doing here.
And this couple like flew around the country to see productions like all over the place. So they were like, yeah, anybody can do that. Anybody can commission a play and then go see.
Were they from Milwaukee?
No, they were from
okay.
Seattle.
Oh,
Yeah.
Seattle. Oh, Seattle.
Yeah, so this play doesn't have like a particular location, but generically it's a West Coast city.
Okay.
So like it's Seattle, more or less.
And the unique thing about it, it's a one act, right? But the great thing is you're going kind of back to an interesting place is you're actually having a second act after your brief intermission. Talk to us about what's happening there.
So that is going to be Improv Invasion, and it's the first time that it's being done at the
Trademark.
Bartel. That's what it is called for
pending.
this, and also in future productions, because they're hoping that this is going to be something that people see and that other productions will want to take on. So Monkey Business will be coming in and doing improv after the intermission, and they will be taking suggestions from the audience that are based on things that they were thinking about from the play. So they'll ask for prompts of things that people were thinking about or that were interesting in the play or that they want to see, people playing with. And then they will do long form improv, like 30 to 45 minutes based on the play. It'll be different every night. There will be different Monkey Business people there every night. And everyone involved is so excited. And hopefully it will be something that other theater companies will say, oh, this would be an awesome thing for us to have. And, contact Kelly and get it together, because it has been amazing working with them. We had the Monkey Business people come into the rehearsal this week and come and see the show and do warm-ups with us, and it was just it's really awesome getting different groups together and playing with them.
That's a great idea. And so I'm assuming that will your cast members, including Kelly, then stick around and join in if they want to?
If they want to.
Kelly will be in it every night, and then
okay.
if they want to, any other cast members are welcome to join on different nights. And
Yeah, some of them are adamantly not ever going to participate. And I don't. I mean, I would never do it. I am not an improv performer.
It's tough.
I cannot.
If you don't do improv or don't like it, it's not something. It's like doing stand up, and that's the hardest thing in the world for me. I think that you just be there by yourself and not have a script to fall back on. Some people love the energy of that, and some people are like
No, I like having a script.
Yeah, it's almost like dragging people up when you're doing when you're doing environmental theater. Some people are like, there's no way I'm going to go and participate in theater, and there are people like, come on, I want to dance with these people. I want to do the whole thing. When we were doing Sweet Cannoli Nuptials, it was like you got a whole crowd of people that wanted to go to the wedding, and other ones were like, don't even come near me, don't talk to me, don't look at me, don't sit in my lap, don't feed me cake, don't do anything. So it's a real, it's nice you're offering that option. If people want to stick around and watch that, and same thing with your cast. If you want to do it, great, but I can't imagine being forced to do that if people don't want to do that.
Well, and
you want it to be uncomfortable at all.
That's one of the nice things about Monkey Business is they are so good at what they do, and they have so much experience that when these actors are coming in, they are not going to be doing the same thing the Monkey Business people would be doing. They are going to be taken care of very well by the improvers and making sure that they are doing things that are at the level of their ability. So they're really they're just so good at gauging that kind of thing and who's interested and not, and if there's somebody who clearly isn't interested, that they are not having to participate, because that's not fun for anyone.
Nope.
Exactly. So how do you divide your duties up for co-directing? It's always been an interesting thing for me. How did the two of you, do you decide that beforehand, or do you just kind of play it by what's going on with the show, especially when it's a show like this where it isn't cut and dried?
We kind of share a brain all the time.
Yeah, Megan and I have known each other for a really, really long time and spent a lot of time, and we talk about, we go to theater, we produce theater, we've been on stage together, so we have the same, well, I shouldn't say same, we understand each other's aesthetics and what we're looking for and what we want, and of course, like, we talked about it, what we wanted to happen beforehand, and sort of mapped out a general gist of how things were going to go, but we also talked about like what our strengths were, like and what we like doing and what we don't like doing, like, or what we are good at, or whatever, that sort of thing. And so I have a little bit more directing experience than Megan, and I was like, okay, so I kind of like led the blocking beginning part of it. We both did table work, or led table work with the cast and worked with them, because that was just a general forum. Let's talk about these things. And then as we progressed into the actually like working on things and refining and honing and polishing, which we're in right now, then it became just sort of a organic split. Like we focus on all the points together, and
we kind of know when it's like, I'm gonna tell people to do a certain thing, and we both are gonna agree on that. And every once in a while, we'll be like, okay, should we do this? And it'll be kind of a negotiation, just in that moment of, should we tell this actor to do this? Because we don't want to tell them one thing and then tell them something else. And I mean, I don't think that this is a way that most people could work together, but it's definitely a way that we can.
It works. Yeah, and it was more just we're detectives, we're curious, we're asking questions, we're trying to like peel back the layers of these people and like help the actors understand them. So we're trying to understand them, and that's it's really just an ongoing conversation, which works really well with more than one person. So it's been really, I mean, it's been wonderful for me because I love spending time with Megan, but also it's really wonderful to have someone else's perspective and in things sometimes, and sometimes I do want to just be the only person talking. but for this show, like I still am not 100% sure how I feel about these characters at the end of the like I like them, but also I'm just like, man, you guys really did some dumb stuff for the past hour.
That's exactly what the playwright.
True.
And the playwright says that's what he wants. He says, at the end of the play, I don't have some sort of clear intention that I want the audience to be walking away with. I want to present them with these people who are good people at their core, who make all sorts of different decisions that aren't necessarily the best decisions, but in the end, they're good people who I'm trying to give them all different paths forward, and that you don't know what their path forward is at the end. That's for the audience to think about. That's for the improvisers to, maybe improvise different ideas of what it might be, and they'll improvise something different every night.
Yeah, it's not really an ending. It's just
it's a
another
doorway.
It's a doorway.
It's a threshold.
Yeah, it's a threshold. It's a kairos to another
Yes.
place. Which those are my favorite kinds of plays, where you leave and you're still thinking about it. You wake up the next day and you're still thinking about it. You're talking about it with other people who have gone to go see it, because folks are going to have very different opinions about, depending on what your background is, depending on what your gender is,
depending on what kind of experiences you had in your life.
Because
there are a lot of things that people are going to be able to say, I absolutely associate with that. And when I was in that situation, this is how I felt or what I did. And
even a lot of the folks in the cast have shared personal experiences and connections, and it's just like, when talking about it, you're like, they react to it very differently than someone who is not in that situation. And it greatly affects how we have staged things and how we have flavored the intentions of the show. So it's been kind of cool to incorporate real life experience of the performers into stuff, which is a good thing to do in general, but it's not every show where you can do it to such a specific degree sometimes, because we've had some really intense conversations about stuff, and it's just like, well, okay, let the audience decide. We're just gonna put this out there, and we'll see how folks react to it, because we feel very differently about certain aspects of this. Like, there was some very intense negotiations about certain aspects, which we figured out, which again, if we didn't like each other as much as we do, would have been very difficult, because it was personal, and that is hard to do sometimes, especially with even with folks that maybe sometimes even it's more difficult with folks that to parse through these real life traumas that everybody goes through.
And some of the actors have even said, I am going to make a call every night if I do this particular thing, or if I do this particular thing. It's going to be, how I feel like the character feels that night. And we're like, all right, go for it. Like, that's going to work.
Yeah, there are plenty of places where it's like, well, or how the audience reacts too. Sometimes it's like, well,
the audience is going to be another character in the show.
They're involved very,
Yeah.
very much in. It's not a choose your own adventure, but it's definitely a choose your own vibe.
So does any other character besides Kelly have interaction with the audience?
We can't tell you.
It's a secret, huh? So how, other than the notes you told me that Stephen had, was that in the script that he said he wanted it to be like an open door at the ending? Or did you have to have a conversation with him?
I haven't done as much directing. I've done a lot of dramaturgy work.
Okay.
So I have been doing tons and tons and tons of dramaturgical research, even though I am not the dramaturg on this play. I'm kind of like, pretending like I am, and bringing in sometimes too much information to the cast. So I try to not overshare it, but I'm just like, let me tell you about the 4 hours of interviews I watched today. He is fascinating. The interviews are amazing. Like, you can find them on YouTube if you want to, look him up. He was a professor at UT Austin too, and so he taught people playwriting and directing and stuff. So he has so many really, really interesting insights that apply to this play, but also to his work in general, and also to theater in general. He had like some really, really cool new insights that I had never heard before.
What do you think he's going to think about, or if he ever finds out about, the fact that you're going to be doing the improv afterwards?
I've been trying to find his phone number or his email address.
Hello,
I've been trying to look up.
Hello, Stephen. Hello, Steve.
Email you. I've been trying to find his agent, or because he's not a professor anymore. So I've been trying to figure out how to contact him, because I've wanted to specifically talk to him about some things.
He must have a literary agent someplace for his.
I'm sure
If
he
anybody
does.
out there knows
Really?
Stephen, tell him
to
give us
email
a
me.
call.
No, because there have been a couple things I wanted to ask. I don't know if he wants to hear from me, but he maybe will. Like, we have some
you never know.
We can invite him.
Unless you do it. It's like you're doing his work. So
We've
done his work before. So it's not like you're out of the clear blue. He's gotten he's gotten some kind of monies from
Definitely.
From
We've
Mercury,
had a number
from
of
Martell.
playwrights come to Mercury shows that we've done. So
Well, a lot of
they
them
do
have been original.
sometimes.
I mean, a lot of Mercury stuff
Oh
is
yeah,
original. Yeah.
But with published playwrights too, we've had a lot of them come out, and so if you want to come on out, Stephen.
Do you know where he's living now currently? Mm-mm. So none of his interviews have you've tapped into that part of the dramaturgy, psychopathic.
No, I haven't started stalking him yet.
Yet.
We have a week till we open.
I think that would be very cool if you came to see it. That would be awesome. So cool. So besides that, I know that Kelly and Nick and Dana are in the show. Who are the other actors in the show?
Whitney Derendinger. Is in it. He's playing the wealthy dude, and he, don't tell anybody else, he might be my favorite character, just like maybe ever. I love Whitney's character so much.
The more we work with it, the more we are just like, we love you so much. It's just, it's amazing.
And then then there's a gentleman named Travis Bedard. He has done a whole bunch of work with Madison Shakespeare Company, so folks who have seen those shows will be familiar with his work there. He's newish to Madison, but has a lot of experience. He was in, was it Austin that you said he was teaching? So when he was in Austin at the same time that Stephen Dietz was teaching there, and I guess they had, I don't know that he ever met them, but the theater he worked with he was there. They were maybe in the same theater at the same time.
So
at
should
some
be able to
point.
get me his email address.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
And then the other two folks in the cast are brand new to Madison Stages, which is one of my favorite things to do, is to get folks out there that we've never seen before. One of them is my neighbor, who this is her first play ever. And she's grown. So, I mean, it's really incredible to see somebody walk into it. I mean, she knew who these people that she was in the room with and is going to be on. I mean, she knows that they're very, very experienced and talented, and then to be in that room is a little bit intimidating, but she's done it. She's stepped up and just been fearless. And then there's another gentleman named Dan who just moved here from New York, and he is awesome. He auditioned or was going to audition for a previous show of mine, The Birds, and that didn't end up working out. But I got to know him personally after that, and I just thought, wow, you'd be really awesome for this role. Come audition, and he just nailed it. I mean, that was
absolutely,
that was one of the funniest auditions ever, the spot on, like, because he's playing this like 26-year-old freeloader living in his parents' basement, and and he's not 26, but like, but he could be. He's hilarious. It's like every parent who has an adult child that has lived with them will be, oh my, yes, that is the thing. So yeah, it's been really, really cool. We have a lot of really, really experienced folks that we've worked with for years and like are personally, you know, good friends with, and then new people who are really excited to be doing theater and are excited to do more theater, and that's awesome because, you know, we know, like, all you got to do is get out there and go. Like, you know, folks, it's hard to start though.
Right.
It's terrifying sometimes, and so it's always a goal of mine to sort of put an arm around somebody in every show that I do and like, come on in, like, you can do this. This town is full of opportunity. Like, you just have to show up and have a good attitude.
So is that how you encourage your neighbor to do it?
Sorta. Well, she knew that I did a lot of theater, and she was very interested in. She wanted to take acting classes. Like, she was like, that's how the conversation sort of started, because she was looking for recommendations for any coaching or classes in town, and you know, and she ultimately ended up. She's been taking a Meisner class in Chicago, so she's been driving down there every week and taking a class there, which is kind of crazy. To me, that's kind of crazy.
And she also was just like, I don't know how this Meisner technique is working. So we've had so many conversations with her being like, look at all of these actors and look at how amazing all these actors are. They're all doing different things. They're all taking, like, they're coming to it with like different ideas and with different kinds of ways that they get to where their character is. There's not one right way, and Meisner is not the way to do this play. So just throw that out and do some other stuff.
So stop going to Chicago.
But we were like, that's fine. The classes are great, but don't use Meisner for this play. We're going to use some other stuff, and just like being in a play is I feel like it's way better than taking classes. Like actually being in the play and learning it. And she's just like, I want to do this forever. I'm like, yep. I'm like, you're one of us now. Come join us. And you can do it forever. It's like, this is amazing. I'm like, yes, it is. That's why we do it. That's why we've been doing it for so long. It's amazing.
So it's 3 weekends, right? And you opened this weekend. And then do you publicize your Wednesday show, or should we not talk about
we can
Wednesday
definitely talk about that. Because, you know, we're not making any money, so Steven doesn't get any money. I'm sorry, Steven.
Steve, you didn't hear that.
Email me and tell me how you feel.
It's a rehearsal, Steven. We're trying to make sure that the show is good all the time. But yeah, there's a Wednesday pay what you can at the door. So you can't
on the second week.
The second weekend, so you cannot go online and purchase tickets. You can just show up at the theater. If you have $1, you can get in. If you have $0, you can get in. You can write me a check for like 10 grand. You can get in.
You can really get in.
Whatever you want. I'll make you dinner.
Play something for us, Sean. Wonderful piano player. I love your posts when you play piano on Facebook.
Oh, thanks.
What was I going to say? Oh, is it in the Drury or the Everview? Upstairs or downstairs?
Downstairs.
It's downstairs.
Yep.
So much more intimate space for this kind of show.
Yeah, it's very, very sometimes uncomfortably in your face. Actually, it's not uncomfortable. It's Kelly in your face. There's nothing uncomfortable about that.
Just the subject. The subject matter is a lot, but also it is often a lot, while it also is like outrageously, like you can't breathe. It's so funny. You're laughing so hard. So
yeah, I've cried a lot during rehearsal, but out of just joy and humor. There's been many happy tears.
Nick is nobody can get through their lines when Nick is on stage. He's so funny.
No, when I first came back to Madison, the first show I did was Seven Santas with Nick. So that was a long time ago. That was 2001, I think. So I've known Nick for a really long time, and he always just manages to crack my face and whatever. And his serious stuff is good too. Yeah. I mean, it's not he's just not just a comedic actor. I mean, he's a really good actor.
And in this show, he does
both. It all.
He does both, and sometimes at the exact same time.
Yep.
It is.
You're like, he's saying really, really awful things, but I can't stop laughing at him. And it's okay.
It's really amazing.
Yeah, everybody's goal this week is to not laugh laugh on stage. It's one of those shows where you really have to just make a concerted effort to just hold it. There's also lots of what I call Saturday Night Live moments where nothing is being said, nothing is happening. There's just people standing on stage, but there's going to be laughter, and they're going to have to wait. And they're going to have to wait, and they're going to have to wait and hold it because people are just going to be laughing. And then it's going to be one of those moments where they're laughing because they're laughing, and the folks on stage aren't breaking, and it'll just kind of cascade and keep going, which, is for a director, those are wonderful, wonderful moments. It's really hard to do as an actor. Like, I don't envy them those because I don't know that I could do it. I don't know that I could do it with people staring at me and laughing.
They do it so well.
Just hold, wait for it, wait for it. Okay, go.
So this isn't the final show for Mercury, is it? Are there other shows in the season yet?
This is the last one.
It is. Yeah, I kind of thought it was like
Yep.
it's like late spring. It was kind of like winding up their season. Had you announced what next season is?
I don't believe so. I don't
Okay.
think they do that in May. I think the Bartel Theaters
They
do that like
the big announcement, season
mid-May or
announcement.
end of May, something like that. I do know some things, but I can't tell you.
Okay. Then I won't push you on that, Sean.
We'll talk about it next year. Let's just say that.
Perfect. When the season announcement comes, you'll come back on and talk about it.
Maybe have to
Perfect.
do
So
that.
I love it. I love it. So Becky's New Car at the Bartel Theater opens this Friday. Tickets are on sale now, I'm assuming, at the Bartel website.
It's 2 for 1, folks. 2 shows for the price of 1.
And it's improv. Everybody's favorite thing in the world to do and see. It's improv. But a great idea. I hope it goes really well for everybody, and I hope that idea really sticks to it, and other companies pick up on that idea because it's a great idea. It's also really the wonderful thing you do when you're doing one act. A lot of people won't do a one act because they figure, well, we can't do just 60 minutes and charge $25.
That's
So-
kind of why. That's kind of how
Yeah.
this happened. 'Cause
Which is, but all those one acts, so you don't have to do a night of one acts, or you can do a one act, take a little break, and have an improv company come in. I think that's a great idea, really great idea.
People could even do it if they have a full-length play and do it afterwards. People
That's
used
true.
to do late nights
Yeah,
all the time,
that's-
and they were very well attended. So, yeah, this is
Yeah, I
something
miss
that...
Rob Matsushita's midnight shows. I mean, those are some of the funniest things I've ever
Yes.
witnessed at Broome Street.
Yeah, it's really, really great for the theater too. Folks will probably be purchasing lots of beverages at intermission for improv, and so that's a really great way to support the theater beyond just purchasing a ticket. Is moving more booze. so it's good. Let's keep the lights on.
Perfect. And that's what we intend to do. Excellent.
Great.
Great. Thank you guys for coming on so much, and have a great tech week.
Thank you.
Thank
and have a
you.
great opening, and I can't wait to see the show.
Awesome.
Yep, great. So thanks everybody for tuning in. Thank you, Ben. Thank you, my husband, Jim. And we'll see you next time on Biz Buzz with Bruno.